Hey, have you ever stopped to wonder what makes you, you? I mean, really think about it. Is it your sense of humor, the way you're a genius in the kitchen, or how you handle a crisis? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into one of the oldest and most fascinating questions out there to figure out where you actually come from.
No, seriously, take a second. Think about your personality, your talents, all your little quirks. Where did that stuff come from? Were you just born that way? Or did you become this way because of everything that's happened to you? Believe it or not, this one simple question is at the very heart of psychology. So, to even begin to get an answer, we first have to understand how we even know what we know about ourselves. And it turns out there are two very different ways of looking at this, and they set the stage for a debate that's been raging for centuries. You see, psychology is really built on two huge foundational ideas. One is all about thinking things through, and the other is all about observing the world around us. And you really got to get these two before you can understand the huge debate that came next. Let's break them down. So, on one hand, you've got the thinkers. These are the philosophers. They tackle the big questions using pure logic and reason. And on the other hand, you've got the observers, the empiricists, who believe that real knowledge only comes from what we can actually see, measure, and experience for ourselves. All right, let's start with philosophy. This is really the art of asking those big, deep why questions about life. Philosophers use critical thinking and solid reasoning to build frameworks to understand things like, existence itself. It's not always about finding one single answer, but more about asking the right questions to begin with. And then on the flip side, you've got empiricism. Now, if philosophy is about asking the questions, empiricism is the part that demands proof. It's the core belief that we can only really know something if we can observe it and measure it with our senses. This is the bedrock of the entire scientific method. The rule is simple. If you can't test it, you can't really know it for sure. So what happens when you take these two powerful ways of thinking and you aim them squarely at that question of what makes us who we are? Well, you ignite the single most famous, most epic conflict in the entire history of psychology, a true showdown of ideas. And welcome to the main event. In this corner, we have Team Nature, arguing that your destiny is written in your DNA from day one. And in the other corner, we have Team Nurture, arguing that no, you're born a blank slate, and you were shaped completely by the world around you. So let's hear from Team Nature first. The argument here is that who we are is basically baked in from the start. It's all about our biology. This side says our personality traits, our temperament, even our talents are inherited. They're passed down to us through our genes. It's all in the blueprint. Okay, so what's the comeback from Team Nurture? Well, this side says forget the blueprint. It's all about the world outside of you. It's how your parents raised you, the school you went to, the culture you grew up in, and every single one of your life experiences that have molded you into the person you are today. So let's look at this side by side. You've got nature, right? That's your genetic inheritance, things like your basic temperament. And you have nurture, all those environmental influences like your culture and values. But here's the kicker. Look at that last row. Interaction. It says that our genes only give us a predisposition, and our environment is what influences if and how those genes get expressed. And that idea, well, that's where this whole debate starts to get really interesting. And right there, that one little word, interaction, it completely changes the game. It suggests that maybe this legendary battle between two opposite forces isn't really a battle at all. Maybe it's something way more complicated and way cooler. So, after all that, after centuries of this intellectual tug of war, who wins? Is it our genes that make us who we are, or is it our environment? Who comes out on top? And the answer from modern psychology is, it's the wrong question. We've been asking the wrong thing this whole time. It was never nature versus nurture. It was never a fight to begin with. The truth is, nature and nurture are partners. They're in a constant dance together. There's a famous saying that puts it perfectly. Your genes might load the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger. You could be born with a genetic potential to be an incredible musician, right? But if you never have access to an instrument or a teacher, that potential might just stay locked away forever. They need each other. But this reveals a third and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, you. Because you're not just a passive victim of your DNA in your childhood. You have volition. That's the power of your own will. You have motivation, the fire that drives your actions. And crucially, you have agency, your power to make your own choices and actively shape the person you become. So that leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. If your genes provide the paper and your experiences in life provide the ink for the story of you, who's the one holding the pen? Thanks for joining us.